And we will also bring experts from Ukraine together with our own experts to help Gulf partners shoot down Iranian drones attacking them.
US President demands Iranian troops put down their weapons. We will not negotiate with US. Iran's security chief denies Wall Street Journal report on nuclear talks. And how UK seeks Ukrainians' help against Shahed drones over the Persian Gulf. The latest news next. US President Donald Trump said that Iran's IRGC, military and police must lay down their weapons or they will face death. In addition, Washington will continue the operation until all objectives are achieved, according to a video posted on the White House YouTube channel. On the evening of March 2nd, Donald Trump recorded a second video address after the start of the US military operation against Iran. In it, he outlined a number of demands and future plans.
I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death.
He announced that the US has serious objectives and that combat operations will continue until all goals are achieved. Donald Trump also made several additional claims. All of Iran's military command has been destroyed and many are reportedly seeking to surrender. He said they are requesting protection and are calling in thousands. The US has struck hundreds of targets inside Iran, including IRGC facilities and Iranian air defense systems. 9 ships and a shipbuilding facility were destroyed. 3 American soldiers were killed in combat and more casualties are likely. America will avenge their death. He urged all Iranian patriots who want freedom to seize the moment and reclaim their country. He called Ali Khamenei pathetic and disgusting, blaming him for the death of hundreds and even thousands of Americans and for the killing of countless innocent people in many countries. Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council of Iran, Ali Larijani, allegedly made a new attempt to resume negotiations with the United States. However, he denies this information himself, according to his post and a report by the Wall Street Journal. What media reported? According to Wall Street Journal sources, Ali Larijani insists on resuming nuclear negotiations with the United States through the mediation of Oman and attempted. Publication writes that contacts carried out through Omani mediators confirms strengthening of Larijani's positions after the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as a result of strikes by the United States and Israel. It is known that Larijani deals with security issues and Iran's military efforts during the conflict with Israel and the United States, as well as attempts by Tehran to find a way out of war. Although he is not part of the triumvirate formed to govern the country after Khamenei's death. What official says? Ali Larijani himself, in response to this publication, wrote that Tehran does not plan to talk with Washington. We will not negotiate with the United States, his post says. In several other posts, he added that US President Donald Trump plunged the region into chaos, instilled false hopes, and now fears further losses among the American military. Larijani also believes that Trump sacrificed US soldiers for the sake of Israel's pursuit of power. Israel is mobilizing 100,000 reservists to strengthen its defenses across multiple fronts amid rising tensions with Iran, the Times of Israel reports, citing the Israel Defense Forces, about reinforcing strategic fronts. According to the military, ground units have been urgently reinforced at all critical directions, along the borders with Syria and Lebanon, in the Gaza Strip, and on the west bank of the Jordan River. Special attention has been given to rear area defense. The Home Front Command has already mobilized 20,000 reservists, primarily tasked with search and rescue operations in case of missile strikes. About extra security measures, in addition to ground forces, other branches of the military have received significant reinforcements, including Israeli Air Force, Israeli Navy, Intelligence Directorate. The IDF assured that all mobilized personnel will receive the necessary logistics and equipment to carry out combat missions as quickly as possible. The UK plans to involve experts from Ukraine to help destroy Iranian drones over the countries of the Persian Gulf, states UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Starmer emphasized that Britain is not joining the US and Israeli strikes on Iran. However, the British will provide assistance to partners in the Persian Gulf in repelling Iranian attacks.
We are not joining these strikes, but we will continue with our defensive actions in the region. And we will also bring experts from Ukraine together with our own experts to help Gulf partners shoot down Iranian drones attacking them.
Keir Starmer added that Britain remembers the mistakes of Iraq and therefore will not attack Iran. However, since Iran is pursuing a scorched earth tactic, the collective self-defense of allies is being supported.
It is the best way to eliminate the urgent threat and prevent the situation spiralling further. This is the British government protecting British interests and British lives.
Leaders of the E3 countries, Germany, France and the United Kingdom, have threatened Iran with joining the US and Israeli military operation if Tehran does not stop its attacks on Middle Eastern countries not involved in the hostilities, according to a joint statement from the three countries posted on the German government's website.
E3 leaders are appalled by the indiscriminate and disproportionate missile attacks launched by Iran against countries in the region, including those who were not involved in initial US and Israeli military operations.
The heads of state emphasized that Iran's reckless attacks are directed against Europe's closest allies and threaten both their military personnel and civilians throughout the region. In this context, they called on Tehran to immediately stop the attacks. Otherwise, the E3 countries will join the military actions.
We will take steps to defend our interests and those of our allies in the region, potentially through enabling necessary and proportionate defensive action to destroy Iran's capability to fire missiles and drones at their source.
In summary, the leaders also stated that they have agreed to cooperate with the United States and their allies in the region on this matter. The United States and Israel are working to rapidly degrade Iran's military capabilities and force Tehran to capitulate, driven by concerns over the massive consumption of air defense assets, which could leave Washington with depleted stockpiles, the Wall Street Journal reports. During the planning of military operations against Iran, US military officials warned of the risk of exhausting ammo reserves. That concern is now becoming critical. The United States is trying to quickly reduce Iran's missile and drone capabilities while simultaneously expanding large volumes of air defense interceptors. Officials and analysts note that this has created a serious logistical challenge. Exact figures for air defense missile stockpiles are classified, but ongoing strikes in the Middle East have significantly reduced them. Following attacks on Iranian military sites, US Central Command reported intercepting hundreds of missile and drone attacks, though some still managed to hit targets in the Gulf region. President Donald Trump has indicated the United States is prepared for a prolonged air campaign. Experts warn, however, that interceptors are being used faster than they can be produced. The United States is heavily relying on Patriot and THAAD systems as well as sea-launched Tomahawk cruise missiles for strikes on Iranian targets. Analysts caution that a shortage of precision-guided munitions could affect US readiness for other potential conflicts, including in the Indo-Pacific region. Israel, also involved in the operations, faces similar shortages of interceptors. If the conflict continues, experts predict the Pentagon may have to reallocate missile stockpiles from other regions, potentially impacting supplies to Europe, which has been sending missiles to Ukraine. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha stated in his post on X that Russia's influence in the world is rapidly declining following the loss of support for key partners, including former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, and Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. He emphasized that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has proven to be an unreliable ally, unable to assist his closest partners. Loss of allies and decline of Russian influence. Sybiha noted that in just over a year, the Russian dictator lost three key supporters, Assad, Maduro, and Khamenei, while Moscow failed to provide effective assistance to any of them at critical moments. According to the minister, this trend demonstrates three important facts. First, Russia is not a reliable ally even for regimes that are fully dependent on it. Second, while Russia is bogged down in a senseless war against Ukraine, which it will never win, its global influence is dramatically shrinking. Inevitability of Putin's fall. The minister stressed that the process of toppling dictators is a domino effect that will eventually lead to the collapse of Putin himself.
Putin's fall is inevitable. Together we must do everything possible to bring this joyful day closer and ensure accountability for all Russian crimes. Justice is unavoidable.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.